Hey guys, it's Mrs. Moylan and Mrs. Dalton, and we're here to go over the semester exam study guide. Feel free to watch it, pause it, go back as many times as you want, take lots of notes, make those corrections so that you are studying the correct information, and don't forget a parent signature as proof that you have studied. Starting with number 1, using cubes the entire time. At 7 a.m., the temperatures were recorded at the major U.S. airports, and here are my numbers that were recorded. Which airport has a temperature less than negative 3.07 and greater than negative 3.14? So basically, I'm looking for the number that would be in between these two on a number line. Negative 3.14 would obviously be the same, and negative 3.07 would obviously be the same. Negative 3.02 is greater than, not less than, so the correct answer would be negative 3.11. So the airport would be New York, New York. Number 2, Channing descended, that's a clue word, at a rate of 22 feet per hour. And then the question is, what was his change in elevation after 4 hours? So if he started right here at the top of the cave and went down 22 feet per hour, that would be 88 feet altogether. But since he is going down, he's descending, it would be negative 88. Number 3, she ran 4 1/5 miles on the path. Each lap around the path is 3/5 of a mile. The question is, how many laps did Lacey run? So if she were going to be counting her distance, lap 1 would be 3/5. Lap 2 would be 6/5. Lap 3 would be 9/5. Lap 4 would be 12/5. Lap 5 would be 15/5. Lap 6 would be 18/5. And lap 7 would be 21/5. Well, if we look at 4 1/5 as an improper fraction, that's equal to 21/5. So it took her 7 laps to go that total distance. Number 4, the chart below shows total yards lost in a season by 4 different football teams due to the quarterback being sacked. Here are my yards lost. Order the teams, so it wants me to put them in order. Order the teams from the least amount of yards lost to the greatest amount of yards lost. So the team that lost the least would be Texas Tech, followed by Texas, then Baylor, and the people that lost the most yards would be Oklahoma. Number 5, which statement does not represent an expression? Does not. So if I look at my choices, choice A is an equation because it has an equal sign. Choice B is an expression because it does not have an equal sign. Choice C is an expression because it does not have an equal sign. And choice D is an expression because it does not have an equal sign. So the only one that is not an expression would be letter A. Number 6, it wants me to solve using PEMDAS. First step is parentheses, 2 plus 6 is 8. And then I bring the whole problem down. And then I look, what is my next step? My next step would be multiplication. So that would be 8. And I rewrite the rest of the problem. Then I've got another multiplication right here because no symbol means multiply. And then I've got addition, and then addition. So my final answer would be 32. Number 7, Mr. Conroe divides 9 liters of Dr. Pepper among 7 students. Which expression represents the amount that each student would get? So again, which expression? I'm not trying to solve anything. He was going to take 9 and divide it by 7. So I could look at it like this, or like this. So D would be the correct answer. Number 8, Vincent buys 7 tickets for a movie. Each ticket costs $6.25. How much does he pay for all 7 tickets? So $6.25 times 7. Remember, when multiplying decimals, you don't have to line up the decimal point. That's only when adding, subtracting. 5 carry the 3, 14, 15, 16, 17. 42 plus 1 is 43. 1, 2, 1, 2. So my final answer is $43.75. Number 9, Mrs. Bates sells bookmarks for $2 each to raise money to purchase new library books. So far, she has collected a total of $220. Which equation below would solve for B? And B is the amount of bookmarks that have been sold. So if I replace that statement, if I look at A and I say the amount of bookmarks that were sold plus 2. No, that's not true. Letter B, the amount of bookmarks that were sold minus 220 would equal 2. No. Letter C, 2 times the amount of bookmarks that were sold would equal $220. Yes, that is true. And then D, the amount of bookmarks that were sold divided by 2, no. So the correct answer is C. Number 10, Gavin records the expression below. 7 times y. Lane wrote an equivalent expression, y times 7. The question is, which property explains why the expressions that Gavin and Lane wrote are equivalent? That would be the commutative property. The commutative property says that you can flip-flop the order of your numbers and still get the same answer. Number 11. Which situation is best represented by the integer -20? So we want to think -20 going down, descending, having less, subtracting, something like that. Colton had 20 times as much candy as Louie. Well, that would be 20 times. Zane bought 20 items at the store, so he added 20 to whatever he had. Benny evenly split the pizza among 20 people, so he divided by 20. Michelle went down 20 flights of stairs. So the correct answer would be D, because that would be -20. Number 12. Which coordinates of the points A through F on this graph? So coordinate A would be over 2 and up 7. So it would be 2, 7. Letter B would be over to -4 and then up to +6. Letter D would be over to -3 and then down to -3. Letter E would be over 0 and then up to 2. And letter F would be over to 7 and down to -5. Number 13, find the value of the expression below. Starting with my parentheses, 7 minus 5 is 2. Rewriting the rest of the problem. Then I've got my exponent. 3 squared is 9. Rewriting the rest of the problem. Then I've got multiplication. And lastly, I have addition. So 22 is my final answer. Number 14, Julie and her 5 friends, so that's a total of 6 people, earned $432 at the bake sale. They agreed to split the profits evenly among them. How much money did each friend earn? So that word split and evenly tells you that this is a division problem. 432 divided by 6. 6 goes into 43 7 times with 1 left over and bring down. So each of them would get a total of $72. Number 15. Which expression is equivalent to 3 divided by 1/5? When I am dividing fractions, I'm going to keep the first number. Division becomes multiplication. And the second fraction becomes its reciprocal. Keep, change, flip. So if I look, that's not what A says. That's not what B says. That's not what C says. That is what D says. So D is the correct answer. Number 16. What is the prime factorization of 156? So I know that it's an even number, and I know 2 will go into it, but maybe I don't know what the other number is. So I have to do 156 divided by 2. Then I do my division, and I get 78. So 2 and 78. 2 is a prime number. 78 is not. So I have to break down 78. Again, I know it's a prime number, so I can do 2. Or I know it's an even number. Maybe I'm not sure how many times 2 goes into it, so I come over and I do the division. Subtract, bring down, 9, oh my goodness, 2 and 39. 2 is prime, 39 is not. I know that 3 goes into it, and I know it goes in 13 times. So the prime factorization is 2 times 2 times 3 times 13, or I could say 2 squared times 3 times 13. Number 17. Students voted for their favorite type of restaurant. The table shows the fraction voting for each restaurant type. Order the fractions from least to greatest. So I need to find a common denominator so I can compare my fractions. I see that all of them will go into the number 12. So I can rewrite my fractions using that common denominator. This would be times 6, so that would be 6/12. This would be times 2, so that would be 2/12. And this would be times 3, so that's 3/12. So if I order them from least to greatest, Mexican food received the least amount of votes, followed by American, followed by Chinese, and then finally Italian. Number 18. When Danny left Miami, Florida, it was 62 degrees Fahrenheit. When he arrived in Fargo, North Dakota, the temperature was -5 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the difference in the temperatures between Miami and Fargo? So when he was in Miami, it was 62 degrees. And then when he got to Fargo, it was -5 degrees. And the question is, what is the difference? So how far apart are they? So just to get to 0, it would take me 62 degrees. And then I'd get to 5, that would be 5 more. So they are 67 degrees apart. Number 19. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to 5? So I have to solve all of them. Remember, same signs positive, different signs negative when I'm adding or when I'm multiplying and dividing. So this would be a +5 because they are the same signs. This one would be a -5 because they're different signs. This one would be a +5 because they're same signs. And then this would be a -50 because they're different signs. So looks like 1 and 3 equal 5. So that would be choice C. Number 20, which equation represents the absolute value of -9? All of it has to be included in the bar, like in those two choices. And absolute value is always positive, not negative. So the correct answer is A. Number 21, Kimberly is selling popcorn for a fundraiser at school. Each student needs to sell a minimum of 20 buckets, so at least 20 buckets or more. Kimberly has sold 8 buckets so far. Which inequality represents the number of buckets B? So B is the number she still needs to sell. So whatever she has sold, or whatever she still needs to sell, plus the 8 that she did, has to be more than or equal to 20. So if I look at my choices, that is choice D. Number 22. Joe charges $10 per hour for his lawn care service. He is currently earning money to attend a concert. He needs to earn $150 or more to attend the concert. Which solution best represents the number of hours Joe needs to work? So first you have to figure out how many hours does he have to work. $150 total divided by $10 an hour is going to be 15 hours. So he has to work 15 hours or more. Letter B just says 15 hours, but he can work more. Letter D says less than 15 hours, which will not work. Letter A has an open circle, which means he couldn't work exactly 15. And letter C has a closed circle, which means he could work exactly 15. And we see that he could, so letter C is the correct answer. Number 23, the table below shows the hours worked and the total pay earned. Here's your hours worked. Here's how much they earned. Which of the following is true about the quantities? So we have to look because they're talking about independent and dependent quantities. we have to look and think to ourselves, okay, what do I have to know first? Do I have to know how many hours he worked, or do I have to know how much he earned? Well, first I have to know how many hours. So this is going to be the independent, because that's what I must know first. Then the amount he gets paid depends on how many hours he works. So this is the dependent quantity. So I look at my choices. The values for H represent the independent quantities. Well, that is true. The values for P represent the dependent quantities. Oh, that's also true. The values for H represent the dependent. That is false. Well, both A and B were correct. So D is the correct answer. Number 24, what is the value of the expression below? First, you start with the parentheses. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Then you rewrite the problem. Next, I have to do the exponents. So 2 squared is 4. Rewrite the rest of the problem. Then I have multiplication. 4 times 4 is 16. And then my last step is 11 plus 16, so 27. Number 25. The model represents the equation 3x minus 2 equals negative 11. What value of x makes 3x minus 2 equal negative 11 true? This is a two-step equation, so I could add 2 to both sides, giving me 3x equals negative 9. And then I could divide by 3, giving me x equals negative 3. That's one way of solving it, and that would give me D. Another way of solving it is to use substitution, and I could try out each of my choices in the equation and see which one would give me negative 11 as the answer. And that one, again, would be letter D. And the last question, the Venn diagram below shows the relationships of subsets of rational number system. Which of the following sets would belong to the integers? And remember, integers are whole numbers, and they can be positive or negative, but they cannot be fractions or decimals. So A has 0.24, which is not an integer. B has 2 decimals. C has 2 decimals. And then D has all positive and negative whole numbers. So D would be the correct answer. Make sure that you study, and best of luck on your semester exam.